Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today, let's talk about Call of Duty 2020. What an absolutely boring hype cycle this has been so far. Typically, this time of year is the most exciting time for the Call of Duty community because the current game is reaching the end of its run, and by now it's usually very fleshed out with tons of interesting features, and the next game is typically revealed by now, and it's being hyped up like the second coming of Modern Warfare 2, but as you guys know, this year has been pretty much anything but ordinary. I'm sure everybody has heard this by now, but fellow YouTuber and pretty much all-around good guy, Exclusive Ace, posted a video on his channel where he announced that he has seen some early footage of COD 2020 from one of the QA testers, and he broke down a lot of what he saw, and here in today's video, I want to discuss some of the claims that he made in his video. I'll put a link to that video as well as a number of articles down in the description. I wish we had trailers and announcements to go over, but I suppose leaks from a guy as credible as Ace is going to have to do for right now, because Activision is being super secretive this year, and I hope that in the coming weeks we get some sort of official news about Call of Duty 2020, but for right now, we're going to have to make do. To quickly summarize what we learned, Call of Duty 2020 is indeed going to be set in the Cold War, and it's going to be very much a Treyarch-style game. It's not going to be much like Modern Warfare 2019, like a lot of us thought it might be. For some fans, that's a great thing. For other people, that's a horrible thing. I suppose it depends on whether or not you liked Black Ops 4 and whether or not you liked Modern Warfare 2019. From what Ace said in his video, the gameplay of COD 2020 sounds like it's going to be a lot like Black Ops 4, but without manual healing and without specialist abilities. The minimap is going to go back to normal like it was back in the, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2 days, so we're not going to have that weird fog of war mechanic that we saw in Black Ops 4, and we're also going to actually see enemy gunfire, unlike what we see with the minimap in Modern Warfare 2019, so all around, that sounds pretty awesome. The compass is apparently going to be returning from Modern Warfare as well, but I don't think people are going to really notice that all that much because the minimap is going to be like it was back in the good old days. When it comes to health, apparently we're going to have the 150 health pools that we saw back in Black Ops 4, but health regeneration will be automatic like it was, say, in Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2, and all those older games. I'm personally a pretty big fan of this because while I do personally think that manual healing is a good thing, I feel like it adds a lot of room for player skill to influence gunfights and overall matches. Even though that's not going to be there, I'm just happy that health pools are going to be large again. Of course, weapon tuning could alter what the time to kill is going to feel like, but in general, having 150 health means longer gunfights, which means player skill is more of a factor. Let's say, hypothetically, somebody is just camping in a corner and has really bad aim. You run into that room, that person tries to kill you, but because you have 150 health and you have more gun skill, you can potentially still win that gunfight even though you were taken completely by surprise, and I've always considered that to be a really good thing. I've always liked these slower time to kill Call of Duty games. Obviously, Black Ops 4 is an extreme example of that, but I enjoy slower time to kill, and if you're one of the players that really enjoys a fast time to kill like in Modern Warfare, then this decision is going to be somewhat controversial for you. But at the same time, I feel like this decision was made so that they could diversify between the different Call of Duty titles. If you think about it, if every single game had a Modern Warfare feel, for example, or even a Black Ops 4 feel, for example, then franchise fatigue would set in a lot faster than it normally would. With Treyarch having a more fast-paced, arcadey style of Call of Duty product, and Infinity Ward having a much more slowed down, gritty, and somewhat realistic product, each title feels a lot different, right? And that's what keeps things fresh. I feel like that's why Call of Duty has had the longevity that it's had. If you think about it, they've been releasing games annually for almost 15 years now, but with all the different studios like Treyarch and Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer and occasionally Raven, all having their own spin on things, each game has a somewhat different feel, and I'm personally a pretty big fan of that. Now, this obviously means that not every game is going to end up being everybody's cup of tea, but diversity while still maintaining the Call of Duty feel is a good thing in my own personal opinion, and I'm happy to see that the time to kill and health pools are going to be different with COD 2020 as compared to Modern Warfare 2019. Next up, let's go ahead and talk about gameplay here. Unlimited Sprint is apparently back, which is a good thing in my opinion. The tactical sprint feature will not be returning from Modern Warfare, and another thing that won't be returning are going to be the doors. And that sounds so weird to complain about. Like, they're going to be in Warzone, which we will be discussing Warzone later on here in the video, but doors are not going to be part of the Call of Duty 2020 multiplayer, and I think pretty much everybody's happy about that, right? And before we go any further, I would like to point out that while I agree that the door system in Modern Warfare was really annoying and it slowed down the gameplay, it still feels so weird that everybody's complaining about doors. Like, who would have thought adding doors to Call of Duty maps would have such an impact on gameplay and upset the community so much? I just think it's kind of weird, right? Doors, of all things, are one of the biggest things that people complain about with Modern Warfare. But moving along here, specialists are not going to be returning, but a field upgrade style system like we see in Modern Warfare will be returning. It was also leaked a while ago that the operator system from Modern Warfare may be part of Call of Duty 2020. We didn't really hear too much about that, but that may be a feature going forward. I'd be personally fine with that because I think it's kind of cool having different characters to choose from and customize, while also not having those characters actually impact gameplay, like the specialists that we saw in games like Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, or even the ones we saw in Infinite Warfare. Moving along here, apparently score streaks are going to be back as compared to the kill streak system. Create class is going to be similar to the pick 10 systems that we saw back in the day, but there are going to be a few new changes, and apparently the multiplayer maps are pretty much already done. Now, according to Ace, as well as his sources, there are 10 maps already done for Call of Duty 2020, with more potentially coming, but this is where I start to get a bit concerned, right? Some of you may remember hearing the leaks a while ago that Nuketown, Firing Range, Summit, and Jungle are going to be remastered yet again for Call of Duty 2020. Now, this is obviously unconfirmed as it is just a leak, but the leaks are coming from the gaming revolution as well as Long Sensation, who have been accurately leaking details for ages now. I've made my stance on remastered maps pretty clear over the years. I like remastered maps. I'm actually pretty outspoken about that. A lot of people hate them and think they're lazy. I think remastered maps are a good thing so long as they add to the game instead of making up the bulk of the game's content. If there are only 10 maps ready for launch and 4 of them are remasters that we saw in Black Ops 3 as well as Black Ops 4, not counting the other games like when they redid Firing Range and Summit for Black Ops 2, then I'm not happy at all. These are great maps, don't get me wrong, I love all of those maps, but you can't keep just remastering the same 4 maps every single time you release a new game and call it content. The game needs to have 12 original maps at launch and then maybe 4 remakes on top of that, right? Original maps need to be the priority as compared to just filling up the game with remasters from all your older titles, right? That would be the ideal way to go, and why not get creative with the remakes and do something that hasn't been done before? We've seen Nuketown a ton. That obviously needs to come back. It's a Black Ops staple, but instead of bringing back Firing Range and Summit as well as Jungle again, why not bring back classic forgotten maps like Castle from World at War, or Hanoi from Black Ops 1, or maybe reimagine Plaza from Black Ops 2? There are so many great maps in Call of Duty's history, even just in Treyarch's history, right, that have never been remastered, and I think it would be nice to see some of them return with Call of Duty 2020 as compared to seeing the same maps every single year. We talked about franchise fatigue earlier. That's how you fatigue your players, by having the same maps every single year, right? You can't do that all the time. I hope those rumors are not true. I hope that when they release COD 2020, most if not all of the maps are original, and then they start sprinkling in some really good remasters on top of that just to have a little bit of a nostalgia fix and a trip down memory lane for the people that have been playing the series for a very long time. But moving along here, Dead Silence is apparently not going to be a perk, and let me tell you guys, that causes some great concern for me. I've often maintained that Modern Warfare's multiplayer would be nearly twice as good if Dead Silence was a perk, right? Just something you could use all the time. Most of my problems with Modern Warfare 2019 stem from the super loud footsteps and the way that the maps are designed. Let's be honest here, the maps are designed for camping, and if all those people who are sitting in windows and in corners could not hear you coming, then a lot of those problems would go away. When I have Dead Silence active as a field upgrade, I tend to do really well and it's really enjoyable, but as soon as that goes away, I'm back to running around like an elephant and suddenly I'm not having nearly as much fun. If you think about it, Dead Silence has been a feature in every single COD from 2007 up to Modern Warfare 2019, and now it appears it may not be returning for Call of Duty 2020 either, and that's a huge problem for me. I could definitely rant about this. People on my live streams have seen me do it. I could rant about this for an entire video, but in short, Dead Silence is a great perk for the series because it gives smart players the ability to rush effectively, and if they're good at it, they can succeed as a mobile player. Without it, players are punished for having a mobile playstyle. It's not impossible to have a mobile playstyle without a perk like Dead Silence, but it's definitely a lot harder because you're actively punished for moving. Those people who are camping in windows or camping in corners or just sitting in a random part of the map, they are at an advantage for not moving because they can hear you coming well before you have any idea that they're even there. That's why it's a problem for me. Not having Dead Silence slows down the game, and I'm nervous that's going to slow down COD 2020 as well, even though the game has unlimited sprint and apparently classic Treyarch style map design, which typically involves 3 lanes and very predictable traffic patterns. I suppose we'll have to wait and see how things are going to play out if and when the beta is announced, but until then, I will try to reserve full judgment until I've actually seen the system in action, but in general, when I hear Dead Silence is not returning, that causes some concern for me, and chances are it causes a lot of concern for you guys as well, particularly search and destroy players and people who enjoy playing game modes like free-for-all. Now, one final thing that we learned is that Warzone is going to live on with Call of Duty 2020, and apparently it's going to have an entirely new map set in Russia, and it's going to be based on the events and the locations that happen in the next COD, which I think sounds really cool. It was leaked a while ago that Blackout was going to be returning for COD 2020 in one way or another, and it appears that what they mean by that is we're going to be getting an entirely new Warzone map that's going to have water and swimming mechanics, which, by the way, swimming mechanics will apparently also be in the multiplayer. That sounds pretty interesting. As of right now, we don't know if gameplay mechanics are going to change to be more similar to Blackout, and we also don't know if we're going to see a bunch of COD 2020 Cold War style weapons, or if the guns are just going to be a mix of Modern Warfare and Cold War. As of right now, we don't really know exactly what they're going to be doing, but apparently Warzone will live on. It's going to be the only COD Battle Royale for the foreseeable future, and when COD 2020 comes out, there's going to be an entirely new map based on that game, and from there, who knows what else they're going to be doing. That pretty much does it for all the new leaks and rumors. Again, I hope some official Call of Duty 2020 news comes out very soon, but in the meantime, it is nice to at least hear something, especially when it comes from a super reputable source like the exclusive Ace. The game is apparently in a much better state right now than fans are expecting, which is great to hear, but it always comes back to that one question: why have they not even announced the game? They have not given us literally anything official for this game, and if history serves, it's going to be releasing in anywhere from 3 to 4 months, and we still haven't had a beta yet. That's pretty concerning if you ask me. As always, I will do my best to keep you guys posted with as much news and as many details about this game as humanly possible. Hopefully we get some official news soon, but until then, I'll be covering the leaks, I'll be covering the rumors, and hopefully everything we learn is going to be accurate once Activision finally decides to reveal the game to us. But until then, I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider leaving it a like, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.